Well, yeah, once people start dying in this movie.
Hmm.
A lot.
Hmm.
Oh goodness. No, and honestly, I for this point, I did not give them anything for it. I don't
Hmm.
think that the major stands for anything except for
Hmm.
self-preservation, which isn't an ideal or the right thing to do in any sense of the word. And so this it's while self-preservation, especially in a high stakes environment like this, does put the stakes way up here, right? It doesn't it doesn't give the movie anything that's memorable, anything that's going to make it last in time.
Hmm.
And so this this character doesn't really have anything that compels you to root for them because they don't stand for anything other than themselves.
Yeah.
And
And,
even with their like little thing about being friends with Abraham Lincoln and all of that stuff at the beginning of the movie, that's even if that was true, that's still not a very that just still doesn't give him an ideal of any sense.
mhm. Well, it's just like, yeah, like he doesn't stand for anything, and he doesn't really change as a person either. Where it's just like I was just
Oh
saying, like he
no.
does like
Yeah.
as he's just uh he kind of stays static for for the majority of the movie. He only changes in his opinion of Mannix. Like that's the only thing that really changes.
If you were to revise this, how would you change it so that there was an ideal appropriate for this movie that he stood for, that Major Warren stood for?
The movie would have been better. Like, and it kind of goes back to the letter because I remember
Mhm.
how the movie ends with the letter being read off again,
Yeah.
and it's like, but it's read aloud, and like it almost seemed like the idea was to try to promote this idea of unity, like kind of like, okay, hatred destroys, like we need to be kinder to each other,
Mhm.
but it kind of falls flat after everything that happened because everyone was just vicious and mean to each other this whole movie. Um, so I feel like if you were going to give this movie a solid footing, you would have to change Major Warren's character drastically. Like, make his character more
Mhm.
in line with what the letter was saying. Like, it can more reconciliatory. Doesn't mean he isn't, like, he doesn't take chances, that he doesn't, like, he isn't selfish or anything like that. Doesn't mean those things. He could still do some of those things, but it'd be more for a higher, like there'd be other reasons for it, like more pure motives, I guess,
Yeah.
behind his actions. It wouldn't be hatred or like just to be vicious or mean to people. Like he'd have like a more compelling reason behind it.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. And
Hmm.
even the letter could still be a lie. I still think he could
Hmm.
be a compelling character. The letter could still be a lie, but
Hmm.
the Major Warren actually believes that kindness is the highest value, or justice even is the
Hmm.
highest value. And that could be displayed in, for example, the discussion that Oswaldo Mowbray has earlier on when he's discussing the value of justice and how
Hmm.
he, as the hangman, is the highest good, more or less, because he is impartial when it comes to punishing these people. And if Major One were to interject and have a little discussion with them about the value of, let's just say, mercy or kindness or justice, or how basically what he would stand for in that discussion,
Hmm.
that could be a valuable point to make in that part of the story if that was in line with his character. But like you said, these characters are very well developed on the backstory, and so in order to actually have an ideal that he stood for, he would have to fundamentally change his character. And that's a
Hmm.
little, I would say most times it's not that hard to just say, "Oh, you should have added this." But in this case, it is because the characters are so well
Hmm.
developed on the back end.
Hmm.
You can't just insert that in there as easily.